let's do a super brief historical review of psychology. When I say brief, I mean really, really brief. So, way back in the day, there was a guy named Hippocrates. You know, the Hippocratic Oath? He was the father of modern medicine. Then, a billion years later, well, not a billion, in the 1800s, there was a woman named Dorothea Dix, and she did hygiene reforms for mentally ill patients. And the reason this was very important is because before Dorothea Dix, people who had mental illnesses were treated more like animals than like people. So they were chained up, fed once a day, sort of left alone. And Dorothea Dix came around and said, hey, why don't we treat these people like people, and maybe they'll be able to get better. So she was really important for psychology. Now, in the 1960s and 1970s, something bad happened. It was the deinstitutionalization of all the mental hospitals. And although the people leading this movement had the best of intentions, it didn't go so well. So they saw, oh, schizophrenic patients or other sorts of patients can just take medications and they'll be able to live on their own. We don't need to keep them here. So they let most of the patients leave. And the problem was that most people were unable to self-medicate themselves. And so that's a reason we see a lot of homeless people who have mental illnesses. The last thing we're going to talk about is Kraepelin, and he was the first guy who really classified mental disorders, and now we have the DSM. So, I know that was very brief, but now you understand a little bit of how we've come to where we are today in psychology.